Hello, friends! Stephen Talbot here, of course. Today, my friends, is Friday, June 1st, and it is my absolute pleasure. I know that gets on some of y'all's nerves, but oh well, honey. Next video. Anyway, I'm so happy to have you here with me today. What a gorgeous day outside. It's about 4:15 if I had to guess. Just got back from the gym. Got up early this morning. Not early. I got up this morning about 10. And spent the last 2 days with my aunt, which is why I haven't recorded a video. And went out to canvas for a little bit last night. My aunt lives all the way in Ashland City, so gosh, 2 days without the bar, and I was like having withdrawals. Anyway, went out to canvas for a little while last night, and then this morning I got up to help, and I went to help Mario clean an Airbnb, which is one of the things I want to talk to you guys about today. The other thing I want to talk to you about is, you guys know, well, actually my last podcast, I did record a video yesterday, didn't I? Yes, I did, actually, now that I think about it. Anyway, so you guys know that I talk about podcasts a lot, and one of the podcasts that I love and that I talk about a lot and that I listen to often is called The Chalene Show, which is Chalene Johnson. She is a fitness, she's like a business guru, celebrity fitness trainer. I didn't actually find her because she was a celebrity fitness trainer. I found her because I was looking for like coaching podcasty type stuff years ago. And so today she did an episode about what to do when you find yourself with some sort of physical setback. And my physical setback was the fact that my hip started hurting real bad, and like my left knee started hurting real bad recently. And you guys know about my foot issue. And it's interesting because as I've gotten older, well, I thought for a long time that I was getting older, and I really wasn't feeling it. You know, you hear about people grunting when they get up and stuff like that. The fact of the matter is, for all these years, I've been a fucking couch potato. It's when I decided to get active that I realized that, oh my God, first I'm hurting my foot, then I'm hurting my knee, then I'm hurting my hip, and all this stuff. So anyway, that's not even what this is about. What this is about is, don't you look guys love when I beat around the bush? What this is about is, it's not about physical setbacks, although that is what her podcast episode was about. But she said something during her podcast about physical setbacks that really resonated with me. It didn't resonate with me, it just made me think. And what she said was that sometimes things happen to us that are maybe unpleasant, or things that we wish hadn't happened, or things that we really question, or things that we really blame on other people. And I knew this before. I don't guess with the most recent circumstance of me getting fired. You know, everything about that screams it's not my fault, and it screams poor me, and I'm the victim. But what she said was, you know, she's religious. I'm not. She thinks that God has a plan for everybody. I don't really believe that. What I can take away from what she said is that everything that happens to us is an opportunity for growth. And everything that happens to us is an opportunity to learn something, a life lesson. So rather than look at something as being victimized or something that's out of our control, what if we look at all of our experiences as a question and say, what is it? Yes, this happened to me. Yes, it's horrible. Nobody's trying to say that it's not. But what can we learn about what happened to us? There's got to be something that we can take away from it. And that's what makes the experience valuable, and that's what makes the experience worth having. So I got to thinking about the fact that I was fired for apparently no reason. But then I thought, you know, what if maybe it didn't happen for this reason, but since it did happen, maybe I can scrape a reason out of it. Maybe I can look at this as a question, and I can say, what could I have done differently? What could I have done differently? Does that make sense? So anyway, I paused the podcast, and I thought, you know, I've been looking at this whole situation as though poor me. I got fired. for no fucking reason, blah, 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 blah. And as I told you guys before, there was an employee there that really was rude and mean and disrespectful and said hurtful things to my team. They all complained to me about her. And, you know, the way that I handled this situation, I tried to go to her. I tried to be very professional. I tried to approach her with specific examples of her actions that were inappropriate. But in the end, I ended up gathering all of this information, and I put it into an email, and I sent it to her, and I said, look, I'm coming to you directly because, you know, I think that's the right thing to do. And I honestly did feel that way. I felt like that was the right thing to do. And I attached all these examples of her being disrespectful and rude and saying mean and hurtful things and totally, completely inappropriate things. And I put it all in an email, and I sent it to her. And I said, this is the only time I'm going to approach you directly. If this happens again, I will be going over your head. And I think, now I'm not saying that what she did was right, but I think that she got me fired. And I think whether or not it had something to do with me being gay, I don't know. It did happen I did get fired the day after I came out of the closet at work. I think that in conjunction with this email that I sent her, though, I think she did have a target on my back already. And I'm not saying what she did was right. However, I got to thinking, you know, maybe I could have approached this a different way. Now, I have one friend who told me from the get-go when I was telling her my idea. I even talked to my boss about this, by the way. And I even told my boss, I said, look, I think I'm going to put everything in an email and send it to her because she's irrational in person. And he said he thought that was a great idea. So it's not like I did this blindly. I did approach this in a way where I felt like I'd covered all my bases and I'd sort of gotten permission from my boss and I'd sort of gotten an approval from my boss to handle it this way. But I got to thinking, you know, maybe I could have done it differently. Maybe I should have went to her one-off for each situation rather than sort of gathering everything together and using it as a bombshell to say, boom. Which is sort of what I did. I gathered all this evidence together, and even though I went to her individual, her and only her, maybe it was like such a boom that she felt threatened and she felt like she had to get rid of me. Because there's no question that it was her decision, or her influence anyway. So, with that said, you know, shit happens. I'm not bitter about it. It's at all. It did come as a shock to me, and I've talked about this before on previous videos about everything that happened. With that said, though, I just think that the lesson here is that it's taken me a month, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever it is, since this happened. It's taken me this long to sort of look at this from a different perspective, and it dawned on me when I was listening to the Chalene show today, when she said, you know, sometimes we feel like things happen to us. And I think that she's right on the money, that sometimes we have to step outside of ourselves and we have to say, you know, I felt like I was doing the right thing, but just because we're doing the right thing and just because it feels right that we're doing the right thing doesn't mean that our approach is the right way. There are multiple ways, you know what I'm saying? Like, there are multiple ways to get to the same result. There are multiple sets of actions that we can take to reach the same goals. And so I think the lesson here for me was, rather than just feel, and I'm not entitled, but rather than just feel in my gut that this end result is the right thing to do, I need to focus more. Everything that happens to us, it's happening for a reason. There are lessons in everything that happens to us, I guess is what I'm trying to say, to sum it all up. And so in my particular situation, just because the end thing that I'm doing is the right thing to do, doesn't mean that my method to get there is the right method to get there. Does that make sense? And so I think the lesson for me here is, at least the lesson that I sort of scrape out of all of this, is to say, from now on, to sort of step back before I take an action like that. Believe me, before I sent this email, I thought long and hard about it, whether it was the right thing to do. There was no question that what I was trying to accomplish was the right thing to accomplish. I should have looked at the details, though, and said, is there another way that I can get to the end, to this result? Is there another way that I can stop her from doing this? Is there another way that I can protect my team members without sort of putting all this stuff together and sort of throwing a bomb at her? Does that make sense? So So like I said, my heart was in the right place, my gut was in the right place. I just think that I need to seriously stop and think, I think I've always thought about it in that regard, like, okay, XYZ, here's a way to get there. I didn't really look at the way that I was getting there. I just looked at, this is the way that I thought of. I didn't even think about alternative ways. And it's like, I heard somebody say once that, you know, there's a window open in the living room and there is a draft coming in. One person in the living room says they're hot and they want to feel the draft, and the other person in the other room says that the draft is too cold. So that they argue back and forth. Shut the window. No, we're going to leave the window open. No, we're going to shut the window. No, we're going to leave the window open. No, we're going to shut the window. If you take a step back and think, is there a compromise that neither one of you have thought of that's actually better than what you both have brought to the table so far? And in the case of the window, maybe taking it from being open to being halfway open is the solution. That makes both people happy. And so you're both fucking happy, and neither person has to sort of get up anything. Does that make sense? And I'd heard that before. I just think it's a valuable reminder. So anyway, I will bid you guys farewell. I hope that made sense. I hope it brings some value to your lives, and I hope that you can apply it somewhere in your lives. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, or concerns, please let me know in the comments below. If you are not subscribed to my channel, I would encourage you to hit the subscribe button right now, and I would really appreciate it. If you like this video in particular, please give me a thumbs up. And as always, until next time, enjoy yourself.